Top 6 reasons the Canucks are struggling and the reasons why. Number 6, they start strong, they finish weak. The Canucks usually come out flying and then they crumble somewhere in the second period. First half, they move well, they support each other, they break out great, they get tons of chances. Second half, their defense is scrambling, offensive passes are forced and picked off. Nothing seems to go right, you start feeling bad for the goalie. My guess would be coaching and a lack of depth. Perhaps Green isn't able to adapt to the game developing as opposing coaches adapt to him. Canucks have the talent, but the entire team looks bad when it counts most. I think you got to blame coaching and systems for that. Maybe motivation, maybe leadership, maybe he's lost the room. Number 5, they can't break out. Like how the Canucks made Edmonton's goaltending look like Hasek, Tretiak, and Brodeur rolled into one. The last few games have made the Oilers' forecheckers look like they've been shot out of cannons. The Canucks D in the second half of the game, of course. They start skating towards each other, they panic, they throw pucks out if they're lucky, and give it away to Connor McDavid if they're not. Schmid, Hughes, Hamonic, Myers, Edler. Sure, this isn't an all-star team, but these are solid, talented defensemen that are made to look like bumbling rookies. It seems like systems and leadership are causing a defensive end to break down. The passing options aren't there, the confidence isn't there. It seems like a solid system they can trust isn't there, and are instead trying to constantly make individual creative plays that devolve into mediocrity. Number 4, Schmid struggling. For the past few years, Schmid has been the top minute-playing defenseman for the Vegas Knights. A team that made the Stanley Cup Finals their first year with him as their top defenseman, and have been one of the best teams ever since then with him as their top defenseman. He doesn't play a lot of power play time, but if you look at what this guy does, he was their number 1 top guy. He comes to Vancouver and he looks like he's wearing his underwear 2 sizes small and backwards. He looks overwhelmed by what's happening out there. His talent and attitude have done their best to balance things out, but there has to be a deeper systems or depth issue when a player of his caliber struggles. Either the systems are leaving him out to dry or the lack of someone talented to pass it to is. Number 3, the power play is not working anymore. Those first few power plays to start the season off with Horvat banging in one-timers, oh my god, it felt so good. It felt like we had yet another shooting option on the power play to go with Pettersson's one-timer, Besser, Hughes. But that now seems like so long ago. The Canucks power play is like a retail store staff when the manager pokes their head in. There's a lot of movement. Everything seems busy and productive. But if the Edmonton Oilers defense and goaltending has no problem shutting you out, then you have a serious problem. This one we can't blame on depth, since the Canucks' first power play is an actual all-star team. Their power play system is stale and predictable. Opposing teams know how to stop the Horvat one-timer in front. They know where Pettersson's going to come at with his one-timer. They know to stop the pass through the middle. I was happy last night to see that they actually changed the power play. Brock was actually in front of the net instead of behind it. He got a one-timer chance of his own. Didn't score. Mean old JT Miller was in front of the goalie, though he seemed to get out of the way when the Canucks would shoot it. Horvat is another layer in front, but the results are no better. You gotta blame coaching and systems here. Number 2, the wrong players left in and out of the roster. Roussel, Gaudette, and Jake have been the least effective players for this team all season long, yet are consistently given roster spots over McEwen, Louis, and others who are far more deserving both in potential and what they've already shown. My only hope is that they're showcasing Roussel, Gaudette, and Jake for a trade, as it's probably a lot harder to sell a scratched player who can't even make the lineup of the second worst team in their division. Roussel is completely ineffective at creating offense, he's not especially great at defense, he takes bad penalties, and he's not intimidating. Yet he's consistently in the lineup while McEwen and Louis and others take turns sitting out. Louis not going to score, but he's proven to be a capable defender, and he's a neutral to positive influence on the ice. McEwen is not only intimidating, as he beat the hell out of Forbort, who bullied Höglander, our most exciting player of the season, but he's shown a huge improvement in actual hockey since his shaky playoff days. I trust when McEwen has the puck, and there's no reason to not have him consistently on the fourth line over Roussel. He's also a younger player you want to grow with this team, while Roussel is definitely gone as soon as possible, whether he's traded or the contract expires. If Benning can trade Roussel for anything and get some kind of value for Gaudette and Jake, I'd be so happy they're getting this time. But with this management, who knows what'll happen. Number one reason the Canucks are struggling this season, they got no bottom sixth. Losing to Foley and Levo, not buying out Sutter or trading Roussel, Jake, Gaudette, or anyone means the Canucks' bottom six is even worse than last year. The rumor I saw on Twitter, take that with a grain of salt, is that Benning is looking for a top 9 forward. I guess you don't know what you got till it's gone. Levo and Toffoli sure would look good in that top 9, wouldn't they? Levo looked pretty grateful for the Canucks to give him a chance after he nearly washed out of the league in Toronto. He signed for only $875,000 in Calgary, and yeah, I know he's only got 2 points in 18 games over there, but the Calgary Flames are not looking like they're having a great time. We've gone over the Toffoli signing so much, it just makes me sad and angry. When a coach is given 2 fourth lines, like Sutter and Beagle, can you really blame him? Well, it did take him over 20 games of terrible results to finally break up the top line and move Pouty Miller down to help out the bottom six. Green has shown very little creativity in finding other line combinations. He's stuck with basically the same lineup the whole season, and they haven't done very well. Why are you keeping it together? You know how they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it is broke, please fix it. Management has to take the most blame for building such a terrible bottom six and bleeding talent over the offseason, but Green just seems to have run out of ideas. At this point, I would be happy to see a coaching change, but I don't trust the ownership and the management to get anything positive done. What do you guys think? Thanks for listening.